Bendiciones, it's your girl Naya here. So this is going to be my review on the Cartomancer poker deck, Archetypal playing cards by Benoit. I hope I'm saying that right. Well, anyways, that's what the back of it looks like. My camera does not want to focus today. This is the little white book. It does come with a little white book. It's worth taking a peek through just because poker decks or playing card decks are all, there's a lot of different ways people read playing card decks, which I think makes it very interesting to get a playing card reading from somebody. However, I wanted to go ahead and go through this deck because I've had this deck for the better part of 2018 and I have yet to have done any kind of review or video on it, and it's been on my list, burning a hole on my list. So I said, you know what, I got some time today, let me go ahead and do it. So, and I will leave a link below where you can pick this deck up at. It was originally a Kickstarter deck, but it is available on their website. Like I said, I'll leave the description in the box below, but I really love this deck. So the concept of the deck is that it's depicted as 4 periods of life, and the aces are named after Jung's concept of the 4 fundamental way we perceive and interpret reality. Diamonds is childhood or sensation, right here. Spades is early adulthood and thinking. Hearts is midlife and intuition. And clubs is late adulthood and feeling. Yeah, and of course this is completely different than tarot, so don't think too hard into it. My brain was like, wait a minute. So one thing that I've done with this deck a few times, which I find this with this particular deck to be very interesting, is to play Solitaire. And wherever I get stuck at, because all of these cards have keywords on them, so wherever I get stuck at, I contemplate that and try to figure out what's going on in my life that I'm stuck right there at that point. You know, and see if I can resolve it or if it's a for real stuck. So that's one way I like to use this deck for, personally for myself, as a way of kind of peering into my own mind. So it's like a unconscious, subconscious, conscious way of being aware of myself, I guess you can say. Okay, so let's go ahead. I guess we'll start with the aces, the diamonds here. So we have sensations. So you can see they're all antiqued. I really love that there's like a fingerprint in the emblems. All the emblems kind of have that fingerprint looking thing going on. And so this one is sensation. What's kind of cool about this too is that you can tell when they're reversed because there's images on them. So if you're that person who likes reversals, this might be kind of fun for you. Innocence, faith, family, nature, persona, pain, obstacle, opportunity, separation. And then you have the Morning Herald for the Jack, which all the Jacks are children. The Mother Earth for Queen of Diamonds, and the Chief of Earth for the King of Diamonds. Alright, then we had Spades, which is early adulthood. So we move from the child to here. Thinking, discovery, travel, Crossroads. See, that was upside. Oh, Crossroads. Desire. Turmoil, which this one is upside down too. So turmoil should be like this. Foolishness. Introspection. Anima. Champion. Herald of Discovery. Queen of Desire. I really love the Queen of Spades in this. I actually really like all the courts in this. Chief of Wickedness. Then from there, we go to Midlife and Intuition, which is Hearts. Love. Foresight. Parenthood. Creativity. Protection. Uncertainty. Instinct. Animus. Here we have Harmony. That one is really kind of, you could reverse it or not. Herald of the Heart. This just reminds me of Alice in Wonderland for whatever reason. Like the fish, though it's such a page of cups thing. Queen of Love. And the Family Chief. And then we have Late Adulthood and Feeling. So, feeling. Ego. Existence. Time. Fate. Anger. Shadow. Self-realization. Psyche. Transcendence. Herald of Night. Mother of Time. Chief of Eternity. So I think the structure of the deck is very beautiful. Okay. The cardstock is good. It has that linen cardstock finish, like bicycle cards do. Oh, and then there's additional cards here. Here we got the unconsciousness, excuse me. And then we have consciousness. And then we have a man card as an extra card. And a woman card as an extra card. So the fun thing about this deck is, first of all, you can technically kind of sort of use this as Lenormand if you want to, and you want to write on it. I think, you know what, for the sake of you all everywhere, I'm going to compare and see if the insets would match. I don't think so though, because these are mostly people. There's not like animals and things going on. But, I mean, you could. I mean, either way, with any playing card deck, you can use it as a Lenormand deck if you take out the right cards and write on it so that you know. But I only say that because we have these extra cards, such as the man card and the woman card. And you could even use these extras as additional man-woman kind of cards. As significators, if you will. So something that I did very early on with this deck was I would shuffle the deck. So if I was doing my card of the day, I would pull this, especially if I didn't have anything going on or I was just being very inquisitive, on contemplating. Like, I wanted to contemplate, I wanted to think deep on something. I would pull this deck out. I would pull out one card and I would use that card as kind of like the topic. So if I do something like this, okay, the Queen of Desire. And I would kind of use that sort of as my theme. And then I would pull my tarot decks, or my tarot card. I'll pull 2 tarot cards and read that in context with the card that I pull from this. So that's something that is good, that I like doing with this deck, is when somebody wants, let's say, a general reading, and I'm intuitively called to use this deck, I would pull one of the cards as kind of like, that's what's going on, that's the topic that needs to be discussed, and then I'd pull additional cards, be it tarot or just more from this deck itself. This deck is so interesting because you can kind of just read off of the images themselves, kind of do that storytelling technique. There would have to be context for sure, but reading it like a story is kind of sort of interesting. But it kind of has more, if you're looking just at the images, it kind of has this more quick, fast thing going on to it. Such as Lenormand, but not, I mean, not exactly like Lenormand, you know what I'm saying? But that the images kind of speak for themselves. Like, there's not too many details to like sink your teeth into, where it's gonna take you all day to come up with something. You have it and you work with it. So I love the antique thing going on with the color of the cards. So for me, anything that kind of has that, I tend to lean towards very heavily for whatever reason. And how else have I used this deck? And I read it like, you know, I've read it like playing cards, but I've also read it like tarot and playing cards. So I kind of bounce back and forth. Sometimes I just read playing cards the way that I just kind of intuitively learned how, and I grew up how, and I don't even know how to explain how. I just picked up a book on playing cards, and I did have a book that I picked up earlier this year, but at the same time, because I read so much tarot, my associations to cross over to the playing cards kind of sticks with me on other days, you know what I mean? So it just kind of depends what's going on. But in a case like that, where I would want to read this deck as a tarot deck, we would need these other 4 cards, because we're missing all of the knights, basically. So these cards would play the knights. And the question is, which cards belong to what suit? There's 2 black, 2 reds, right? So this is like I would say this one looks older, this one looks young. I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's see how I would do this, because I haven't done that yet, actually, now that I think about it. But because there's keywords on here, it also reads perfectly well as an oracle. Like, I've had so much fun with this deck because it's so versatile, and I've used it in so many different ways, just based off of how I felt, how I intuitively felt to use them and saw fit to use them. So this guy and this guy kind of have a similar thing going on with the purple, right? So the ace, he could be the, yeah, they all have purple on. There's like a purple thing going on in the spades. So we would put him in here as the knight. Man, I wouldn't want to write on it though. I would totally want to, like, just to like not forget, but maybe if I just keep it there and keep flicking through them, I'll remember. Okay, so we got this guy out of the way. Let's see. So that leaves this extra card for the oh God, I want to say one for the clubs, excuse me. And he would go here. kind of sort of matches a little bit. Okay, yeah, there's like this guy here and this guy here. They kind of sort of go together, I think. I love this deck. So I've used this deck so much, and I was so crazy about it that I really did buy a backup deck for it, because I was like, if I lose one card, I'm going to lose my crap. Or if I beat this one to hell, you know, I just want to at least be able to have another one on stash. And again, these are not very expensive, so it's good quality for the price point. So let's see here. So I see the green and the green, so aesthetically all that green naturally wants me to put it in here. So the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, you have to slow down and read. Okay, all right, I like it. And then that leaves this unconscious Joker here for the hearts, which of course it's all kinds of red. But yeah, there. And now I could use it as a tarot deck if I could just remember those knights. I could, but I prefer to allow this deck to be itself. It has its own voice, and I use it how it feels appropriate, depending on the time. So this deck is in my stash of Reach For decks. It has been since I got it, and I mean, I don't use it every single day, but it's close by, because when I want it, I will like flip the house upside down looking for it. So I taught myself better than that. So again, this has been the Cartomancer poker deck. So you guys are looking for something a little bit different to play around with. I think some of you guys would really enjoy this deck, and I mean, it's even really great for journaling or blogging, or it's so good. It is just so good. I'm really impressed by this deck, and would highly recommend it. So thank you guys for chilling with me and listen to me ramble on about this beautiful deck, and I will talk to you on the next video. Much love, many blessings, peace.